33. When you spell 33 in numbers backwards, it also spells 33. And that makes perfect sense. Hello, Ben.
Hello.
Hello, King.
Hello.
This is episode 33 of Smooth Traffic. I thought I'd start that with an interesting numerical fact there. So, to let everybody know what we're going to talk about in this episode, we're going to talk about the Honda Civic Type R, the new Ford Fiesta, the phone data, and deadliest boot spaces. Also, we're going to do a movie fight-off showdown, and, oh yes, the land of the ancients. What could that possibly be?
So, Jonny, I understand that recently you tried to crash a press car on a circuit in Germany.
So, I went out to Dresden to visit the Lausitz Ring because Honda are doing the launch of the new Civic Type R there, and it's only been 2 years since the last Type R, so it's a bit strange to be doing the same car again so soon, but it's completely different and it's completely new and it's really, really good. So we flew into Berlin and then we took a drive to Dresden. We stayed in Dresden because that's close to the Lausitz Ring, and then we went to the Lausitz Ring the next day and drove on like the Autobahn unrestricted and stuff, and it was great. It's a really, really good car. It's definitely better than the old one. The interior is a little bit better. The design generally is better. If you're really, really nerdy about it, and I'm not, and like I get bored to death by these sorts of things, but they can tell you all about the little things they've done to make the engineering better, and that makes the car go faster. But that doesn't really matter, because the only thing you really need to know is that it's a little bit faster, it drives a little bit better, and it's a lot more comfortable to sit in normal everyday driving, because the other one was a little bit hard. It wasn't as horrendously hard as some of the big publications made out like they were riding on some kind of sheet of MDF that was just going over a potted road. It wasn't like that. I thought they were a little bit harsh, but this one is much more comfortable. It's got 3 modes. It's got comfort mode, which you can just potter around in and enjoy yourself, and that's what I did when I took it out around the countryside. Like I went and parked next to like a nice church and took some pictures and stuff and visited a couple of villages. It's got sport mode, which is kind of like a saucy Type R mode, but not completely full fat, because full fat mode is plus R mode, and that just gives you like super duper everything basically. Like that changes the mapping and the dampers and all sorts of things, so it makes it absolutely performance orientated. I prefer just pottering around in sport mode really. It's got rev matching now as well, so when you shift down, the revs automatically go to what they should be for that gear, and it makes you look like you're a heel and toe legend, even if you're not. You can turn it off.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you can turn it off if you are a heel and toe legend though, but I don't know many people who are, and it's not always the safest thing to try on a road if you're not that good at doing it. So I would just say let the computer do it. That's all I'll say. What did you ask me, King? If I crashed it?
Well, you had a bit of an off on the circuit, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's nice that you can stick to the brief when when we ask you questions.
Yeah, I just went off on one a bit there. Sorry about that. So when we were at the Lausitz Ring, we had a car. Me and Tim Barnes-Clay, who I work with in the press quite a lot, we teamed up to do like driving around in pairs and stuff, and then we also by chance were a pair to go out on the circuit as well. So we had a driving instructor in a car in front of us, another Type R called Hannes. So he was in front, and then me and Tim followed him behind by ourselves in the cars, and we kind of just had to do what he did.
So, but if he starts braking, then it's a clue to start braking as well. Is he kind of telling you as well? Like,
yeah, he was like,
it?
We had like a helmet on which had a radio inside and a microphone and all the like data recording and stuff, which you can see on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, it should pop up automatically, because I know that Matt, one of our subscribers, told me it popped up automatically, and that's really cool. I'm still not talking about the fact I ran wide, am I?
No.
But anyway, we had to do what Hannes did, and Hannes was trying to tell us what to do. But obviously, when you haven't got an instructor in the car watching what you're doing, you might make a mistake. And yeah, I got a bit too early on the power coming out of a long right-hander, and ran wide basically, and put 2 wheels in the gravel and hit a cone and the gravel at about 80 miles an hour. But I held on to it and I controlled it because I'd already anticipated that I was going to go wide, and I was bracing myself for it. So when I did run wide and did put wheels in the gravel, I was able to retain control and come out of it. But Hannes said that was wrong. What I should have done was just brake and don't go in the gravel trap. But,
Which is the fair point.
yeah, maybe. But if I'd done that, he would have got away, wouldn't he? We had to keep up with him. So, you know.
So did you damage the car?
I knocked the front number plate off. I know. That's an MOT
failure.
That's at least €20 worth of damage I did to that car. Shocking.
And you haven't got €20 knocking around.
No, that's true.
Did anyone else crash it, Johnny?
No one crashed it, Ben. I ran wide, trying to be as fast as I could on a track I didn't know. A bit like how if you drove your train on a track you didn't know, you'd derail it. So, you know, it was you know, wasn't as bad as that, basically. So yeah, in your face.
I mean, I would like to point out that I watched the video up to and beyond the slight off that you had, John, and probably about 3 or 4 corners before that, because I was sat there waiting to see you absolutely tank it, and 3 or 4 corners before that, you also ran wide on a corner then, and I thought, well, that's nothing at all. What's he talking about? So I was pleasantly surprised to then see you go properly off about 20 seconds later. But it wasn't as spectacular as I was expecting it to
No.
be.
The thing is, I thought I'm not a racing driver, so I don't really know how to drive fast properly. And if you've not got an instructor in the car with you, it's different because they can't really see what you're doing. All they can see is you're a dot in their wing mirror, and he was getting away a little bit. So I just tried to do what he did, basically. I was taking the line like the way he told me to, and I was looking ahead the way you're supposed to and stuff. But I basically just got on the power too early. But then, you know, I thought I would just ride the curb because I was riding the curbs a lot anyway because well, they're there to be used, aren't they, curbs?
You like the sensation?
Yeah, I like the way they sort of go, you know? I just like that. So I was taking the curbs a bit, and yeah, I just got a little bit more than I bargained for. But I was quite pleased that I didn't, you know, wreck it or like go into the gravel and get beached or anything. I thought I did an okay job.
How was it compared to another sort of hot hatch or other fast cars though? Because obviously you were driving it at quite a lick. You know, could you picture doing that in an RS or, you know, Focus RS or something like that? Or is this
Yeah, definitely could picture
properly special?
Definitely could picture doing it in an RS. The RS is 4-wheel drive, so I did have a go on that in track, but it was a while ago and I can't really remember now. But I have got the Ford Focus RS with the Mountune pack coming in early August. So I'm going to drive the RS again, but with the power increase to 375 horsepower, which is bloody lots of horses, shall we say.
Obscene.
Yeah, that's a lot of horses for a Ford Focus. So, yeah, I'm going to give that a go. That's in August, though, so we've got about another month till I can really draw a comparison. But the Civic Type R was always my favourite out of the two last time, and it was mostly because it felt like a little bit more of an event. The RS is a bit plain inside, it's a bit sort of dull, it doesn't really feel that much difference to a normal Focus once you're sat inside it, whereas the Type R has got, like, you know, the red badge and, like, the saucier interior and the better seats and stuff. So
I mean, aesthetically, from the outside of the car, you know, the rear just looks angry, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah.
It's saying I'm a ridiculous car, not like a Focus, which you could almost not notice.
It's a very, very aggressive design, and the aerodynamics are supposed to work on that car. So the engineers have told us that the aerodynamic sort of vortex generators on the roof and like the rear wing and the diffuser and the splitter and stuff, that's all supposed to work to produce downforce. And I drove it at 154 mile an hour on the Autobahn. That was as fast as I could get. And it felt completely stable, completely safe, piece of cake. It wasn't fazed by doing that sort of speed at all. At high speed, the Civic Type R is incredibly stable. It was in the last generation car as well, but this one feels a little bit more capable, I would say. It just feels like a really, really well sorted out car. Like it feels. The other one felt like a Type R that perhaps wasn't meant to be a Type R. There were some things about it, like the visibility and the way it drove, sometimes that just weren't quite. It didn't feel pure. It's really hard to explain. Like there's an article coming out this week on influx.co.uk. Read that, and you won't have to put up with me just jabbering and gibbering and just talking like this and not really making any sense.
I wish you'd said that 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe King, just edit the whole segment to make me sound really clever, yeah. But yeah, influx.co.uk this week.
How much time do you think I have?
There'll be an article this week on there. Read that, and I'll have said better stuff.
Johnny, you've written something on OneNote. Land of the Ancients. The bloody hell does that mean?
Land of the Ancients. Land of the Ancients, Ben, is... Well, put it this way. Me and King, we went to Pizza Hut the other day, and we got thinking about how pizza hasn't really changed in quite a long time, and people are trying to find new and exciting ways to make pizza more interesting. So...
Right.
So... At the time, I came up with a revolutionary new way of serving pizza, because in like Pizza Express now, you've got like pizza, and they cut out the middle and put a salad in it, and that's called like a leggera or something like that.
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
But you can do it another way, and I call that way the Land of the Ancients. Why is it called the Land of the Ancients? Well, it's because you get four slices of pizza, and you stand them up crust end on end to make a pyramid, right?
Okay.
And then around the outside of the pizza in the middle of the plate, which is now a pyramid, you then put an assortment of salad and things like breadsticks and other healthy monuments around the pyramid
Right,
to then serve to customers and call it the Land of the Ancients. And if you're feeling particularly creative, you can also put something in the middle of the pyramid, like maybe a small dessert for afterwards. Because you know how archaeologists would always go inside pyramids to, dig out a treasure chest or something. Yeah, basically, yeah. Put like a little like small chocolate truffle in the middle of the pyramid, and then once you've finished eating the pyramid and the healthy land around the pyramid, you can then enjoy a nice dessert. So you get everything on one plate, which is really, really intelligent. And you can charge a fairly good price as well, because it's only 4 slices of pizza, which isn't that big. So it's healthy, it's affordable, it looks really fucking cool, because it's called Land of the Ancients, and you've got a fucking pyramid on your plate. And
presumably bits of broccoli around the outside to be trees.
Yeah, like trees, like salad to look like grassland, and maybe like the occasional... I don't know, cracker or something, or like a breadstick, or broken up breadsticks to look like tiny like grain silos or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Land of the Ancients is the new revolutionary way to serve pizza. And if we open a restaurant called Smooth Traffic's Pizzeria, and we serve things like thin base or deep base, nobody's going to buy it because it's really boring. We need to sell pizza in a more exciting way. So Land of the Ancients was my great idea. And at the time, King said, this is a great idea. And I was like, yeah, it's a great idea. Let's do it. But we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie about that. When I saw it on OneNote a minute ago, I thought, I haven't got a clue what that's about. As soon as John started talking, it came flooding back to me. It was a great idea. And I would point out it was an idea that I helped to perfect, John. Because you only wanted to use 3 slices of pizza originally.
That's true. So I was trying to be healthy, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that we need to find a pizza that's got a decent stiff base. Dr. Oetker ones, are they? They're quite good for that. And then we'll try and make one and post it on Twitter.
A Land of the Ancients. Yeah, let's do it. Next time we're all together, let's make a Land of the Ancients. And, you know what? It'll go down an absolute storm. People are going to go wild about it. Because, nobody's ever seen pizza served like that before. The Italians haven't seen it. The Russians haven't seen it. The Uruguayans, they haven't seen it. The Egyptians, they might have seen it because they saw a lot of things that we modern people haven't seen. Pretty sure they've seen space, Ben. Pretty sure the Egyptians went to space and came back and made really cool face masks. Have you seen the film Stargate? That's all you need to know about the Egyptians, Ben. Google Stargate. And you remember that guy on Stargate SG-1 as well with the gold crest on his head? What was he called? Tupac or something?
Teal'c.
Talc. How do you spell that, King?
Tealc? I don't know. Probably with an apostrophe or something. Are you Googling it?
Ben will Google it. Ben's always Googling stuff.
I'm sure he was called Teal'c.
I'm not going to Google it because King always moans that he has to edit out all my tapping on my keyboard.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Well, just pay attention to the conversation then, Ben.
Yeah, so, like, Teal'c is, like, the quintessential ancient Egyptian, isn't he?
Is he? I mean, hasn't he got a living parasite inside his stomach?
Did he?
Isn't that the whole point?
Yeah, but most ancient Egyptians probably had problems like that, King. There was probably loads of health problems back in the day. What was it, 4000 BC, when they were building pyramids and spaceships? That was probably.
So you're telling me they'd seen space, but they couldn't figure out how to get rid of tapeworm?
Yeah, but like we've invented drones, but we haven't worked out how to get rid of head lice yet. So there's that.
Point taken.
So yeah, land of the ancients. The best way of serving pizza in a
Future
healthy.
of pizza delivery.
Yeah. Oh, delivering it would be hard because obviously you couldn't give it to one of those men on the bikes who cycles around and doesn't get paid anything because corporations are evil. Because they would wobble around and the pyramid would fall down.
Maybe you could make it slightly more structurally sound by using breadsticks on the inside to make a rudimentary frame for it to sit against.
Oh yeah, you could try that actually.
Oh,
Maybe we can...
I think you're overthinking this, Ben.
No, maybe we can just make an actual little wire frame to like top the stacks. Because obviously the other thing is that the toppings face inwards, so it looks like a proper pyramid as well. Because pyramids didn't have toppings on the outside, did they?
So it's kind of like a lucky dip pizza because you'd have absolutely no idea what you're about to tuck into.
Exactly, It's so exciting. Although you might want to take the dessert out of the middle in that case because you might end up with a slice of ham inside a chocolate tart or something. But yeah, maybe people should tweet us if they think it's a good idea. Like, send us a message at Smooth Traffic and tell us if you think the...
Hashtag Land of the Ancients.
Yeah, hashtag Land of the Ancients. Let's get it trending. Let's get 100,000 followers. And I'll tell you what, if we get at least 2 people to tweet us, we will make a Land of the Ancients. How about that?
Alternatively, if you want to unsubscribe from this podcast...
We're not going to tell you how to do that.
No. Tough. They can't do it. They're in now. They got to put up with this. Land of the Ancients. When you see it, you are going to be amazed, and I promise you that.
Well, I've just got back from Spain.
Have you?
Yeah, just this minute. Like, it was a week ago or so, but, just this minute a week ago, I got back from Spain because I went to drive the brand new Ford Fiesta.
Ooh.
Britain's most popular car. They've sold billions of them over the last couple of decades or so. Literally billions, yeah. You can't walk down the street without seeing one. There's a Fiesta everywhere. There's probably one in your back garden right now, Ben. But, yeah, the new car's pretty important because obviously the success of the last one was massive. They sold 1 million of the last one.
Is that an official figure?
That's an official figure.
Rather than billions?
Well, billions in general, but they sold 1 million of the last generation, which is loads. So I went out there to drive the new ST line, the new Titanium, and also the brand new Vignale, because they're doing a posh Fiesta now as well. So there's a Fiesta Vignale. And, yeah, good news. I can come back with good news because they haven't buggered it up. It's a really, really, really good car. Very, very similar to the last one. I think the biggest thing that separates it from the last one is just how nice the interior is now, because the interior is really, really nice now, whereas the one on the last one was...
Bit plasticky,
bit below par, kind of badly designed, dark, but the new one looks really, really fresh. And I will try and tweet a picture of it. You might have seen it already because it was ages ago, but I can always tweet it out again when the episode comes out so everyone can refresh themselves with it. They're going to sell loads. They're just going to sell loads of them because it's a really cracking little car, great fun to drive, like all Fiestas are. Really, really sharp handling, good brakes. The little 1 litre EcoBoost engine with 140 horsepower is really...
That's pretty impressive, isn't it, for such a small engine?
Yeah, it's incredible, really, because if you built an engine that was the same size as the Bugatti Veyrons with Ford EcoBoosts, it would have 1,800 horsepower.
Is that another real fact? Or?
I might have just done maths in my head and that might not add up or make sense in a physics and engineering world. But just imagine that. 1,800 horsepower. Yeah, 140 horsepower from a little 1 litre engine. That's 2 bottles of Coke. 2 bottles of Coke is 1 litre. And you can get 140 horses out of that.
Depends on the size of bottle of Coke that you're buying.
500 mil.
I kind of got that.
Yeah, there we go.
I just wanted to check. Because
everyone at home needed that to check. Yeah, I know you needed to check, King. That's fine. Because I know you're getting a bit old, so you needed to check.
Well, it's just because your maths is normally terrible. I was thinking two 2-litre bottles does not make 1 litre.
No, it makes 4 litres.
Ooh, someone's on fire today.
Not doing too bad. But yeah, my recommendation would be to buy the ST line because it's slightly harder, slightly firmer, but that plays to the car's hands because it's more comfortable than it used to be now anyway. And it suits the handling characteristics and the sprightly 1 litre petrol engine. Buy the 1 litre petrol engine and buy it with 140 horsepower because it's a really, really good little engine and it makes a really fruity little sound as well. Kind of like a brrrr, 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 like that. It's really, really good.
So what's the price points and stuff? Is it similar to the previous model?
I think it is similar to the previous model. To be honest, I haven't looked because I don't like looking at prices because I get bored. Like all these figures on a piece of paper just confuses me. Numbers. I can't understand numbers. So yeah, I reckon if you're paying sort of 18, 19 grand for a new Fiesta, you're getting a really, really good car, and it'll last a long time because they do. The servicing is cheap, the maintenance is cheap. If you've got a 1 litre engine, you can open the bonnet and you won't find it. You won't even know it's there. So how can it cost you anything, right, King?
That's surprisingly logical.
Yeah, that's how it works, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, so I mean they'll be in the UK very soon, so no doubt I'll have another one out on a UK road some point soon.
What does the Vignale edition give you over the others? Because ST's the middle of the three, isn't it?
ST line is kind of like just the sporty version basically, but the full-blown ST that is going to be proper sourced isn't out till next year.
Oh, okay.
The ST line is just like normal engines but in a sporty body. So, but it works really, really well. It doesn't sound very good when you say it, but it actually works really, really well. The Vignale is just a really posh version of the Fiesta, basically. Much nicer leather, some plastics are changed, there's like slightly different trims here and there. What I would say, if you're going to buy a new Fiesta, is get the Bang & Olufsen Play system, because that is really, really good. That is a really impressive sound system for such a small car. And they've got rid of the spare wheel so they can put a subwoofer in it. How street is that, player?
So, do you just get that foam stuff you spray in the tyres instead?
Oh, good question. No, I think you just break down.
Oh, cool.
I don't think there'll be run flats. If there's run flats on that, I think I would be feeling a bit naff because the whole point of a Fiesta is, relatively cheap running costs. And run flat tyres are a rip off. So, yeah, just break down instead, or maybe keep a wheel in the back seat.
Put it on the roof.
Or on the roof, yeah. You got a wicked subwoofer in the back. It makes a banging sound. So, what else do you need, really? Yeah, highly recommend it. I don't think the B&O system is too much more money either to spec. There's different editions of the car. I knew that. I saw that in the pictures. Pictures make more sense to me than words. But yeah, I don't think it's too much more to upgrade it. I think it's 300 or 600 quid with the figures I've got in my head. So
those are markedly different figures.
Yeah, one's got a 3 in it and one's got a 6 in it. Honestly.
And they'll both be rubbish, but still, it's good knowledge.
Yeah, I'm remembering stuff as it comes to me when I'm talking about it. But yeah, this isn't a great review. There'll be a great review that I've actually had to write properly on the internet somewhere. I'll let you know when. Yeah, have I talked about the cars I've got coming up yet?
No.
Ooh! It's an exciting July for Smooth Traffic because we've got a 5-litre V8 Mustang coming in a week's time or something, or whenever this episode gets out in a few days. So yeah, about a week. Then I've got an Abarth 595 Competizione for a little bit. A little saucy little rocket.
And you wanted to buy one of those, didn't you? But you didn't get a proper test of it. So
people at Swindon Abarth decided that they got in the car with me and were like, you got to be careful on roundabouts, mate. These things can spin real easily. No, they can't. But I'm not going to lay into salesman. I'm too hot. It's like 34 degrees today, and I'm too hot and sweaty to lay into bad salesmen. But yeah, so I'm thinking of getting one. And a week with one is a good opportunity to really get to grips with it. I've got a real hankering to take it to Wales, but I don't know if I'll have the fuel money to do it, so we'll see. And then after that I've got a Focus RS Mound Tune, so 375 horsepower instead of 345 I think the other one had. Faster, bit louder, bit sexier, bit rarer, and I'm going to take that to an airfield to do lots of naughty stuff with it. And that's all I can tell you at the moment. So that's coming too. So yeah, quite an exciting exciting month of cars. Lots of saucy cars. I like that.
So, I read an interesting article on the BBC website recently, chaps.
Was it about Brexit?
No, it wasn't about Brexit, funnily enough. I waded through all of that because I found some technology and automotive stuff on there, which wasn't about Brexit. And basically, there's an article about this chap who had sold his car and discovered that he could still lock it, unlock it, and or start it remotely via his mobile phone. Because he had an associated app on his phone. I just thought it would be interesting to sort of gauge opinions on, the whole connected car topic again, and what kind of responsibilities manufacturers should have with those. Because the thing that's come out of this is that basically, if you take a car back to the dealer, apparently even they find it difficult to tell you exactly how to clear the sort of personal data that's held on your car's onboard computer. And apparently not even a full factory reset is enough to wipe it.
Well, that's got to be car specific, surely. Like, I can't imagine all manufacturers are that big a moron. That's just crazy. What car was it in question? What was the manufacturer?
That is the only thing that wasn't actually mentioned in the article, which was a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
However, there was a picture of a Peugeot, so maybe it was a Peugeot. But the guy was in America.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that says it all. No, I can't see how they can't just do a reset on it. That's just mad. I could understand that some data might still be there if you sold your car privately and forgot to erase it. That makes sense. But saying the dealer can't, I think that's moronic. Surely they've put in a function for that. That's ridiculous. I'm pretty sure I could steal your car with my smartphone, though, Kingy. I say steal, exchange it. It's probably worth more.
Isn't it Alfa Romeo's you can unlock with a spoon? Use the wrong end of a spoon and put it in the keyhole and you can...
And the whole car falls apart and then you can get in. If you try the handle, the door falls off.
To be fair, I mean, if King still had his Rover 25, that you couldn't steal that with a smartphone.
No.
But I mean...
You can't steal the Mito with a smartphone.
You probably could.
No,
I reckon
you couldn't because the head gasket would have blown on the You've got a habit of buying crappy cars, haven't you? That fall apart. Even when he had his Fiesta.
Do you have a car?
We drove down to Rome in that. Alright, shut up.
Sorry, what was that?
We drove down to Rome in his Fiesta many, many years ago, and the whole way down, when it was baking hot, the heating was stuck on, and we just got pummeled full of hot air the whole bloody way down. 2 days of melting.
I like to think that my foray into cars, because it's been a while since King bought his Alpha, has encouraged King to look at more exciting cars. Well, maybe not exciting because, it doesn't have to be exciting. I mean, yeah, a bit of excitement would be good actually, King. But just good, because there's nothing wrong with the Mito. It just isn't that great, but it is stylish. And there is a certain charm about it. The Rover 25 was pretty terrible. The Alpha, what do you have? 145?
145, yeah.
145. I like that car. I thought that was cool.
It's my favourite car of the ones that I've had.
Yeah, but it was kind of... Well, it was on its last legs, wasn't it? And the Jag, that was...
Magnificent.
That was a first car. Let's put it that way. That was a first.
Let's point
car.
out that was not a Jag. That was a Fiesta.
Yeah.
Trusty though, wouldn't it, King?
What I can say, John, is that what I've realised certainly in the time since we've been doing Smooth Traffic, is that it really doesn't matter what car I get next because you'll still find some reason to berate me for it.
Absolutely.
So I might just stick with the Mito for life. Because there are no more jokes that you can make about it. Whereas...
It'd be a short life if you do have that car for much longer.
Ben, you don't have a car. I can't take you seriously.
That's true.
Whereas, yeah. So, with the greatest respect, John, I think you're an arsehole.
I didn't even start this, though. It was Ben. Ben started it. But Ben was talking about... Well, Ben was just abusing your car, basically.
True.
But no,
true.
I thought you could steal Alphas with a spoon. I thought the spoon would go in there. I remember we were hanging out once and someone opened their car with a spoon when we were younger.
I mean, why would that be any different to any other car?
Well, I think most cars have like a different key, like a key that actually,
Most cars have a... What do you mean? Have a different key?
like like Fords have like little stubby keys they have, and they have it's like a lump of metal on the end, and it's got like a pattern in it. Whereas I think an Alpha is like just a shed key, and that means you might be able to open it with a spoon.
No.
It's more like an honesty box, isn't it, really? You just hope you don't...
It's an honesty car, yeah. I love this segment. Poor old King. King started off by asking a sensible question, and basically it's just turned into bashing King for his choice of cars.
He's getting upset. I like the old days when he used to go quiet.
What I will say, John, is that I thank you for the compliments that you actually paid the Mito earlier. So thanks for that. Maybe you're not as much of a dick as Ben is.
Ben is definitely the biggest dick on Smooth Traffic. He definitely
Beg
is.
your pardon?
He
Excellent. Anyway, so connected cars, King. You're not a fan.
I got no problem with connected cars. I'm just saying, don't connect your phone to it just in case. That's all. It was just, it was something to talk about. And
I do kind of think, to be fair,
Doesn't
like
really matter
connecting
now,
it up
does
for
it?
Bluetooth.
I don't really care, Ben.
But
Why do you need to be able to start your car from a smartphone anyway?
Yeah, I don't get
Kind
that.
of don't see the point.
Well, exactly.
I really don't get that, because wouldn't it be much better to have a function on your smartphone that could heat the car up for you in winter, or cool the car down for you in the summer, rather than just start the car?
Yeah, see, I completely get on board with that. You want something that can turn the heaters on, or turn the aircon on or whatever, or open the windows in preparation for you getting in, regardless of what kind of weather it is. But yeah, you don't need to be able to start your car from your phone.
The idea that someone can use a phone to unlock their car, get in, drive off is ridiculous. It's pointless, isn't it? It's like the old, what was it, the Land Rover or something we talked about the other week, that you could adjust the seat with the app. It's like, that's the most pointless thing ever. It's kind of in that sort of vein, isn't it?
I don't get that. I don't know at what point you'd be on your phone and thinking, oh, I know, I'll make the seat move in my car.
Yeah. I'm going to go out for a drive in a minute, I'll push the seat back.
Yeah, because in a car like that, you've got it on your key anyway. You've got it saved on your key, so when you get in, the seats automatically adjust to fit your profile. And, even if they haven't, you've just got buttons on the seat to use. Why would you use your phone like some kind of nerd?
Oh, no, exactly. This article, which we'll tweet a link to, it basically raises the question about, obviously data protection and things like that, but it's the question of rental cars. So obviously, if you were to, rent a car for the weekend because you were travelling long distance or whatever, you didn't want to use your own car, most people these days will just automatically get in. They'll sync their phone to the car so they can listen to their music or take calls or whatever. And apparently, it's not as straightforward as people think to actually clear the data that is retained on the car's inbuilt computer. So yeah, obviously the fact that you could open and close and start the car from an app is that's one point. But the main issue here is how much of a risk to people's security is it? Data security.
Ben, you know about computers.
I was reading the article. Sorry.
Bloody hell.
If they're storing the data, then that's not great. But to be honest with you, if you're only syncing your audio and your contacts, I'm not really sure what. If someone gets my phone number off it, or a list of my friends' phone numbers, it's not the end of the world. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but you can get people's numbers from other sources.
What you're describing there, Ben, is, without wanting to pay you a compliment, as someone who's fairly tech savvy and generally quite aware about what you're doing, you get into a car and syncing your phone to it. If it gives you options of what to sync, you'd probably go through and choose which things you'd want to sync and which things you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously there are going to be people who are less tech savvy, and I don't want to pick on you, John, but you would be an obvious choice.
I was just thinking, I never untick stuff. I just go, yeah.
And it would say, do you want to sync this, and this? And you just go, okay.
Yeah.
Button, done.
If I remember back to, I think it was episode 2, wasn't it, when you guys did the old one tank to Frank challenge?
Yeah.
And you went all the way to Frankfurt and then back to Reading, and I joined you, and you said that the Bluetooth was crap and you couldn't make it work. and I had it working in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, see? So there we go.
So that says it all really for you guys. But no, I mean, you're right, King. I mean, maybe they just need to have a simple mode for simple people. But I don't know where I'm going with this.
Unbelievable.
I'm just trying to see how offensive you can be, really.
Johnny-proof cars, basically.
Ben, you are so offensive. First you lay into King for his choice of cars and accuse King
At
of...
least I've got a car.
Yeah, Ben. What have you got? Oh, you got a seat on a train, have you? Oh, what's that, Ben? You're on the busiest line? You haven't got a seat? Oh, that's a shame, isn't it, Ben?
I've got a bike, thank you very much.
Oh, so you're prepared to get on a train with a bike and be one of those people?
Yeah.
No, God no.
Guess what time it is, guys? It's time for everybody's favourite show on the radio.
Deadliest Boot Spaces.
No? No cheering?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, woo!
Goodness sake. So half-hearted. Anyway, today's contestants are Robert King of Bath in Somerset and Ben Pearce of West of London. So, today we have two very deadly spaces. We have the load capacity, I should say, because we did do fuel tanks at one time. The load capacity, the boot space of a Fiat 124 Spider,
Ooh.
or an elephant's bladder.
Oh, dear God. I'm not sure where to start.
No, I mean, instantly I think an elephant's bladder must be pretty big. But then, what kind of elephant are we talking, John? African? Indian?
A full-sized adult elephant that's just had a lot to drink, so its bladder is completely full.
I take it there's no difference in bladder size between the different breeds of elephant, then? Is that what you're telling me?
King, this is smooth traffic. It's not planet Earth. I'm not Attenborough.
Thankfully.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just done some rudimentary research that's pointed me to a figure on how big an adult elephant's bladder is and how much piss it holds, and I've got the figure in front of me.
Right. Well...
All I can picture
what
here
was
is
it?
whether or not I could fit Kingy inside an elephant's bladder. Because we wouldn't really fit in the boot.
Oh, yeah. Good question.
I'm trying to think if I... See, that's the way our minds work. I was thinking, could I fit in the 124? You're thinking, could I fit in an elephant's bladder? I think you've got problems.
I think the elephant will have if you're in there.
I would love to see that, though. Wouldn't that be great?
I know we had the No, not the 124. I know we had the Mazda MX-5 on one of the previous ones.
Did we?
Yeah, and I can't for the life of me remember...
What's that got to do with anything? It's a different fucking car.
Well, it's basically the same car, Ben.
But is it?
Yeah?
You just don't know.
You're going to upset a lot of people by saying they're the same car.
Oh, yeah, sorry, okay, yeah. They're the same car.
Ah.
So, I'm going to take a punt, unless you want to go, Ben.
No, I mean, I'm losing terribly at
Because
this.
normally you guess and then I win by having whatever you leave. I mean, an elephant's pretty big.
I'd like to see you try and drink the contents of an elephant's bladder, King.
What is wrong with you, Ben?
I'd love to see King just drinking piss in general. Can we do like you know how King's
is
done
wrong
like
with you?
donut challenges and stuff? Can we do a Rob King piss drinking challenge? Put it on Periscope.
How many human bladders worth of piss can you consume?
Oh man, think of the views we'd get. That'd be amazing. Go on, King, do it.
I'm taking a lot of stick in this episode today. I don't really know how I feel about this. Needless to say, I won't be drinking piss.
Not to your knowledge, anyway.
We'll give him some time to think about it, Ben. He might change his mind.
No, I won't.
If you want to see Kingy drinking piss,
Tweet us.
at Smooth Traffic.
You can tweet all you want. It isn't happening. Simple as that.
You said that about the donut challenge.
Yeah, piss is a whole different kettle
Yeah,
of
but
fish.
they were just donuts, you know.
I mean, yeah, they're just donuts.
They're just donuts.
Bear Grylls might do it. We could tweet him.
I think the elephant's bladder is going to be bigger. There you go.
Okay.
But you said you weren't going to guess.
Okay, you
Because
go.
I was going to say the elephant's bladder.
Perfect. I reckon the 124 Spider.
Well, Ben's jumped in first there. I only take first answers on this fucking radio show.
Yeah, to be fair, I think I've changed my mind, but no, let's stick with my guns.
Are you sure you want to stick with your guns, Ben?
No, I've seen an elephant taking a piss before at a zoo. It didn't take that long. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the car.
Okay, so
right, I want the elephant.
Okay, so
I'll race you.
King has gone for the elephant's bladder. Okay, so interesting fact for you: an average dog has a bladder capacity of 1.4 litres. So, if you are listening to this podcast and you have a dog somewhere in your vicinity, have a little look at it. 1.4 litres of piss that little mutt can hold. Not bad. Not bad, huh?
Not enough to kill you.
Not enough to kill you, though, no, because you would have to drink the contents of your dog's bladder over 5 times to kill yourself. So think about that. An elephant's bladder, however, holds 160 litres. Which means if you drank the contents of an elephant's bladder, you would have to drink...
It's a big animal, Ben.
Yeah, it's a big animal, Ben. Have you seen an elephant before? It's such a flipping Londoner, honestly. So yeah.
How many deaths?
160 litres of piss. That is 26.6 recurring deaths.
Oof.
So that's nearly a death for every day in February. Amazing. The Fiat 124 Spider, that has a boot capacity of 140 litres.
Yeah!
Meaning you would die 23.3 times if you drunk the contents of a Fiat 124 Spider's boot space. Of course, I haven't factored into this potentially how toxic piss is, because it might mean the Fiat 124 wins. But I will get back to you on the next episode of that, because I don't know how toxic piss is, and if you drink it, maybe it only takes 1 litre of piss to kill someone because of, a high content of
ammonia,
or
Isn't it supposed to be fairly safe to drink on the basis that people do it in the wild when they're stranded?
I don't know if you're meant to drink elephant piss though, Ben.
Well, that's true. Human piss isn't too bad, apparently.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Don't take my word for it. Take Bear Grylls' word for it.
Bear Grylls loves a glass of piss, doesn't he? Anyway, so yeah, King, you have temporarily won this title bout.
Yeah.
On the basis that, an elephant has a larger bladder than the Fiat 124 has boot space. So, if you want to carry around a large quantity of piss, get an elephant.
What's the score?
8!
2 Kingy, 3 to Benny.
So, a while ago now, John and I were in the pub, as often we find ourselves, and we were discussing who would win in a fight between Kylo Ren from the sequel trilogy of Star Wars and Wolverine of X-Men fame. And while this was quite an entertaining discussion, it got us thinking that maybe this is something that we should actually talk about on the podcast rather than just chatting away to ourselves at the pub. So, I have come up with a World Cup of movie battle type people for us to discuss to find out who is the greatest sci-fi type, fantasy type movie character who fights hand to hand of all time, based on the 8 that I've selected.
I like the way you'd actually planned this, and it was...
Absolutely.
You had no idea what to call it.
Completely planned out. That's the official title. I'll have to go back and listen to it again if I need to write it down.
King, can I just confirm something before we go into it?
If you're going to ask me about who wins, then I can't tell you, because both Kylo Ren and Wolverine are in this competition. So
I was just thinking though, are we doing this in terms of a sensible combat discussion, or are we doing it in terms of Vince McMahon is sat in the room with us and he wants to know what would make the best storyline for one of these 8 people to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship?
I mean, we're looking at this from a purely combat perspective, John.
Okay, I'll try and be sensible then.
And to be clear, if you could do that, would be lovely. But to be clear, so this is purely based on film characters. So with the example of Wolverine, if you know anything about his backstory in the comic books. If it wasn't in the movie, we're not taking any notice of it. Originally, the idea was that we'd have a mini sort of World Cup kind of thing, but I struggled to really come up with enough characters to throw in without thinking, oh, they'll do, and then thinking, actually, no, because a particular character that's already in will easily kill them, so it makes it pointless even including them.
Is Bruce Willis in it?
No. He would have been, but, I just thought, what's he going to do against a lightsaber?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and then punch him in the face.
Yeah, but I'd just have spent the whole thing championing him. So, to be fair, if it had been up to me, it would have been Harrison Ford and Bruce Willis characters all the way through.
Oh, Harrison Ford's a melt, though. He'd never win anything.
So, let me tell you the 8 characters that are going to be taking part in this. And
Right.
I've already done a draw, so then we can get straight into
Please
the
have
first
Gandalf.
discussion.
Please have Gandalf.
You say that, we're 3 minutes
Please
into
have
this
Gandalf.
segment already.
So, obviously, Kylo Ren and Wolverine were the 2 that kicked this off. But then following on from that, we've got another Star Wars character, Darth Vader, who the bookies consider to be an early favourite for this. We've also got Gandalf. from
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings.
Gandalf! Woo!
As you may be able to tell, that's at the behest of Jonathan Edge, who wanted to make sure that there were characters in this that he actually knew because he'd seen films.
So Popeye's going to be in this as well, then.
Following on from that, we've got the ever-popular, probably described as an anti-hero, Batman, specifically from Chris Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy.
Right.
Then we have Agent Smith from the third of the Matrix movies, when he's full-on at full strength and can nearly kick Neo's ass.
Oh my god.
From Terminator 2, we've got the T-1000, which is the one that was played by Robert Patrick and it was all sort of melty metal.
Liquid Metal Man.
Liquid Metal Man, yeah. And then finally, from the movie Predator, we have the Predator. Because again, I thought there's no point putting Schwarzenegger in.
But isn't there more than one Predator, though?
Not in the original movie, no.
Oh.
It's just the Predator. So, yeah. So that's the 8. I've done a draw, completely FA Cup style. And the first matchup is Batman versus the Predator.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one, King. That is a hot draw right there.
So, thoughts? Go, John.
Well, what you've got to think about here is the Predator's ability to see loads of stuff, and the Predator's ability to also rip people's spines out. Ferocious. Like some kind of mad tiger that's got out of a zoo or something. It's just running around ripping people's spines out. There's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do about it? Well, what you're going to do about it is send in Batman, because Batman's got one of them boomerang things. You can throw it right in his eye. Game over.
So you reckon Batman's going to kill him with a batarang?
Yeah, because also, the Predator sees in thermal, in Predator vision. Well, Batman, he can come up with a suit that makes him look really cold and blends in with the scenery. A bit like how Arnold Schwarzenegger covered himself in shit to hide amongst the trees.
I think it was mud.
Pretty sure it was shit.
Was it fresh shit? Because that'd be quite warm.
I was going to, yeah.
Cold poo it was. Cold hard poo. But he's so strong, he still managed to smear it all over himself. Amazing strength, the man. Yeah, Batman is going to hide with his cold suit on, and then when the Predator comes around the corner, he's going to throw his boomerang, and it's going to hit the Predator right in the eye, and then the Predator's going to be like, "Oh, my eye!" And then he's going to just run up to him, basically, and just punch him into submission, because Predators aren't all that hard, really, are they? They're just sort of spooky lizard things with, a bit of robo technology.
Can the Predator fly?
No.
No.
No, but there you go. Batman's got flying devices, so that's an easy win then, surely.
Yeah, Batman would kick Predator's ass all day. No problem about that whatsoever. What were you thinking, though, King?
Well, John, I completely agree.
Yeah!
I mean, to be fair to the Predator, he was very much the 8th addition to this to this little battle scenario, because I was kind of clutching at straws, and I kind of thought he might have got if he got a better draw, he might have gone far in the competition. But as you say, common sense says Batman, some kind of anti-thermal cloak device, and then creep up on Predator, bish bash bosh. If Arnie can do it, then surely Christian Bale in a mechanised suit can do it.
Yeah, exactly, because he can have one of his tantrums as well.
True.
That would, power him up, and then he would just demolish the Predator. Like, you know when you, playing, some games and you get, a superpower, because you've done so many kills or combos or something? Christian Bale's is like strop, and that gives him like plus 10 attack and plus 5 defense, and that would be enough to see off the person who played Predator.
So, what's the next draw then, Key?
So, Batman wins. Fight 2, on the same side of the draw as Batman, Kylo Ren versus the T-1000.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, but that's T-1000 all day, isn't it?
This is going to be a much shorter segment than I expected. Yes, it is. Because, you cut through him, he just melts into melty metal, and then just builds himself again.
What kills him in the end? It's high temperature, isn't it?
Yeah, lava. Well, is it lava? No, they're in a smelting factory, aren't they?
Yeah, but then surely the lightsaber burns hotter than like, molten metal.
Yeah, but what you've got to think about, Ben, is that the lightsaber is just a single sort of cut, whereas he's physically just drowned in the smelting pot.
Yeah, but will it damage him to too high an extent for him to be able to repair properly at the point of the cut?
I think you'd have to land enough consecutive blows without him putting himself back together. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say I've got to agree with John.
Yeah.
And say the T-1000. As much as, you want to see Kylo Ren progress in the competition.
I don't really, to be fair. He's a bit of a pleb.
He's quite a young lad, a rookie on the scene. And could have been a bit of a Cinderella story for him. But
King's a big fan of Kylo Ren.
yeah, he's alright. I still don't think he'd beat Wolverine in a fight. But anyway, we'll never find out now because the T-1000 progresses through.
Is that it then? Is that how it works? Just, are they going to go into the hat again?
Well, I mean, I can redraw when they're all in the semi-final stage if you'd prefer.
Yeah, go on then.
Alright. Well, we've still got 2 more to do.
Are we doing them next episode?
I was going to say, should we leave them till the next episode to
Yeah.
leave people wanting more?
Yeah, and people can let us know what they think as well, obviously.
True. And if you think it's rubbish, we'll just cram it all into the next episode and be done with it.
Yeah, we'll just
speed it
we'll
up.
just get rid of it. We're still experimenting. It's the Smooth Traffic Podcast Laboratory. Any kind of shit can come out of it.
And be smeared on yourself to avoid predator vision, apparently.
Yeah. So far in this episode, we've talked about drinking piss and smearing yourself in cold shit.
Well, to be fair, I think the only person who's talked about both of those things
Is
you.
Ben. Yeah, I know Ben. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Anyway, join us next time to see who will win in a fight between Agent Smith and Gandalf and Darth Vader and Wolverine.
Agent Smith and Gandalf, amazing.
Okay, everybody, now is the time where you can no longer listen to Smooth Traffic because the episode has ended.
Oh.
Yeah, sad times. But don't worry, because there'll often be another episode in 6 to 8 months. Ben, would you like to say anything about this episode or about yourself?
No.
No? Well, you're a train wanker. King, would you like to add anything else before we go?
Add anything about Ben?
Yeah.
No, I think you've summed it up.
Yep, I think so too. So goodbye from me and Kingy, and goodbye from a guy who is a complete train wanker, and don't follow him on Twitter at the face of Ben, because he is not worth your time.
Yeah, all you've done is given his Twitter handle out.
Yeah, block him. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode, and yeah, stay cool, don't get sweaty, it's hot out there.